Hey there, quick note before we dive in. What you're watching right now is a lesson from one of my courses that I've decided to release completely for free here on YouTube so you don't have to pay a dime. So instead of asking you to buy my course, if you want to show your appreciation, here's a couple of things that you can do. Like this video, share this video, subscribe to my channel. These small actions tell YouTube to share my content with more people, which is a huge help. Also, feel free to check out my recommended equipment links in the description below. If you do purchase equipment from these links, I do get a small commission at no extra cost to you whatsoever. Or if you want to, you can leave me a super thanks or even just hit play on one of my playlists. I know it sounds silly, but if you just hit play on one of my playlists and let it play in the background, even if you're not paying attention, it tells YouTube, hey, people are watching these videos. I'm going to push it out to more people. So even if you just want to do that, I would love it. I would appreciate it so much. And then lastly, if you're looking for more personalized help, I do offer private coaching that you can find in the description of this video. Either way, I really appreciate you, whether you choose to do one of these things or not. Just by simply watching this video, it means a lot to me. Thank you so much. Now, let's get to the lesson. All right, so here I am. We are live. I am going to set my levels here in Adobe Audition to show you how to properly set your levels before you start recording, because this is by far one of the most important parts, is making sure you have good levels before you start recording. So I have the Scarlett 2i2 3rd Gen here in the shot as well, and I'll show you how I'm adjusting the gain knob, which is the only knob that you need to worry about when it comes to setting levels and all that kind of stuff. You don't need to worry about setting or moving any kind of faders or knobs or anything like that inside Audition when it comes to levels. You only need to worry about this one thing, this one gain knob that's on your audio interface. So as you can see right now, I do have actually pretty decent levels. This would be totally fine to go with, but I'm gonna kind of start low and just kind of go until you can see what I'm talking about. I mean, you can already see how I'm averaging in the yellow of the meter as I'm speaking. That's what you're trying to do. But I'm gonna go ahead and bring this down. Okay, and we'll start here. And obviously this is much lower. This isn't great. This is not, you don't want to record this low unless you're doing some kind of crazy dynamic read where you've got to yell. But I've got it much lower now. And a lot of people think, oh my God, I'm having to crank my gain all the way past 12 o'clock. I'm having to go to like 1 or 2 o'clock, and they think that's really bad. But that's normal if you're doing some kind of, really conversational read, which is the majority of stuff that comes across the as far as auditions, it's normally conversational reads. That's huge right now. So when you're speaking in a conversational way, you're not going to be projecting that loud. I'm projecting a little bit right now because I turned the gain down and I'm trying to have you guys hear me. But okay, here's how I would do this. I would hit record and we would start setting levels. So I'd be like, all right, I'm recording. Okay, so obviously this is too low. I'm not even in the yellow yet, so I need to bring this up. So here we go. Okay, I'm at 12 o'clock, and as you can tell, I'm speaking in more of a conversational tone. This is what you want to do. I don't care if you take something out of a magazine. It doesn't matter, just as long as you're doing what they call dinner table talk, where this is how you would talk to your friend across the dinner table. You wouldn't yell and project at him like this, because those were old reads where you would be like, come on down to, that's an announcer read. Normally, they don't want that these days. They want a very conversational read. So if I'm speaking in a very conversational manner, this is actually still really low. This isn't hot enough. I mean, I am in the yellow, so it would be passable. It would be doable. But obviously, I'd want to go a little bit higher. So here we go. Okay, now, as I'm speaking still in a very conversational tone, I'm not really projecting like crazy, dinner table talk, talking to a friend across the dinner table, I could still come up. I mean, you can see that peak right there for things like when you start words, in a lot of cases, when you start a word, it can really spike, so you don't want that to clip. But I think I could still come up a little bit, so I'm going to come up a little bit more. And now I'm still talking in a conversational tone, and this is what it looks like. Now, it's not that much higher than it was, but again, you saw that peak, right? We're getting really close to clipping with peaks where maybe I start a word and it's a little louder than other words. So right here, this is a really good place for me as far as a conversational tone goes, okay? So if you're doing some kind of voiceover read that's very conversational. Like I said, dinner table talk, which is most of the time what they're wanting. You're not projecting. This is good. This would be totally fine. However, if you get some kind of video game or animation audition or something like that, where you're going to have to go from speaking like this to yelling really loud, if you're doing something like that, then you want the speaking part to be pretty low because you want to be able to yell and not have the audio clip. So if we're doing something like that, where we have a video game or an animation audition and it's going to go from quiet talking to yelling, you would set something more like this. All right, I went back to 12 o'clock pretty much on the interface, and I want to see if this would be enough. Okay, so I'm going to do a test here, just like you would when you're setting your levels for some kind of insane video game or animation audition where I have to talk and then I have to yell really loudly. So, okay, here we go. Here I am talking, and then I have to yell really loud. And as you can see, I got so incredibly close to clipping. I don't know how that wasn't, it didn't clip, as you can see on the meter, but I would want to come down a little bit more. So let's go down a little bit more for that style of read, like a video game or animation read where I've got to talk quiet and then yell. So here we go. Okay, now we're just like, I don't know, 11 o'clock or something like that. I'm looking at it from the side, so I can't really tell. But all right, now this is incredibly low, right? So this wouldn't be great, but if you're doing some kind of dynamic read, this would be okay because they would understand you've got to make sure you don't clip your audio. Now, this is just one method for setting your levels when it comes to some kind of like yelling or some kind of read where you got to speak and then yell. There's other methods, so make sure that you go watch the video in this course that talk about or that talks about speaking and then yelling and all the different ways that you can go about recording. So here we go. I'll be talking at a normal level, and then I need to yell. I need to get really loud and blah 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 blah. As you can see, I didn't clip because I was much lower, so that when I got to that loud part, I didn't clip the audio. So that's, in a nutshell, this is how you're going to set your levels. And then, of course, if I go back to a conversational read, I'll go back to where I was before, and now this is going to be a much fuller read, as you can see. If I'm still talking in a conversational tone, it's not too low, it's not too high. I'm not worried about clipping at the moment, unless I have to do a really dynamic read like video game or animation or even commercial. There's some commercials where you have to do that as well, and other genres where you have to do that. But anyway, I hope this was helpful. See you in the next video.